Remember when Apple flatly refused to admit it was making an iWatch, only to gotcha everyone by releasing the Apple Watch? That was way back in 2015, 7 years ago. When it first came out, people who make, sell, and like mechanical wristwatches naturally got a little anxious. Was Apple's take on this beloved device going to herald the second digital watch revolution and threaten to wipe mechanical out again? As it happens, no. The Apple Watch is a very different device. It may have a crown. I remember feeling bemused at the idea of a crown being A. explained and B. heralded as genius. But what the Apple Watch packed inside its pebble-like shell was really very different. If your mechanical watch is a good mate, something you enjoy spending time with for no more reason than to spend time with it, the Apple Watch is like a PA, following you around and telling you you're going to be late for that PTA meeting and that you should really send your brother a birthday card. There was a clear separation between objective and subjective, between Apple and mechanical, resulting in many people wearing both. But now there's the Apple Watch Ultra, and maybe it's about to blur the lines between head and heart, for real this time. Billed as the most rugged and capable Apple Watch ever, the Apple Watch Ultra is squarely pitched as the watch you take on adventures that stretch a little further than the local gym. Note they've skipped the Pro moniker usually attached to its higher-spec devices. It may all sound a bit far-fetched to be creating an adventure watch for an audience whose biggest adventure is negotiating the Victoria line at rush hour, but were you to kick the beach holidays bucket and go stomping about in a South American rainforest or diving in the Red Sea, Apple are very keen for you to know that this would be the ideal companion. Chances are such a person wouldn't go hardcore and get all the pro gear. They'd join a tourist group and get a good flavour of the experience without actually endangering themselves, and that's where I think the Ultra sneaks in to become a watch that deserves to be taken a little more seriously. It would have been, say, 10 years ago that the owner of a lovely but well-worn 14060 Submariner wouldn't have thought twice about taking it with them. But now it's worth 3 times the cost of the holiday itself. There's going to be some understandable hesitance. As for the device itself, it seems like Apple have really been paying attention. The latest Apple Watch Series 8 is a pretty hardy thing, but the Ultra moves it from inner peace and wellness to outright not dying. Water resistance is doubled from 50 to 100 meters, properly suitable for diving. The battery lasts twice as long, up to 36 hours, with a low-power 60-hour setting mooted to be coming soon. There's a larger, always-on display that's twice as bright. To be honest, all of that would have made for a pretty reasonable Pro version of the Apple Watch. All the obvious upgrades are there. What I think makes this the Ultra is the consideration of details that tell me someone who knew what they were doing worked on this project, rather than someone who'd simply watched Cliffhanger and deduced all they thought they needed from that. I didn't think I'd say this, but alongside the Rolex Air King, this is the second significant addition of crown guards to a watch. Here, it makes more sense, because alongside a raised lip bezel, it shows that Apple expects you to bash this watch on stuff. There's also a gauge that can read water depth to 40 meters and water temperature too. You won't see this on the wrist of saturation divers working on oil rigs, but it's a proper bit of kit for someone who wants to do a bit more than splash about in the shallows. Every detail seems to have been pored over to add genuine functional benefit. The crown is bigger with deeper knurling for use with gloves. There's an extra button that you can code to your own usage, like placing a waypoint or starting a dive. GPS goes dual band, improving accuracy from tens of meters to centimeters, as well as improving error correction when immersed in a thick forest or in a deep gorge. Plus there's an extra speaker and 3 microphones, so the watch can be used to speak to someone in windy conditions. There's even a siren that can attract attention from almost 200 meters away. I have genuinely read stories in the news of people who went on adventures and didn't come back, who would have done if they'd had these features. Even the smallest details don't go without consideration. Different lightweight straps have been created for different environments. Apps like the compass have been updated to include even more detail. There's an all-red night mode so you don't ruin your night vision. It can survive temperatures that would put you in the ground. It also gets a fully fledged dive computer, although it's worth noting that this requires a subscription. Apple also recommends diving with a secondary device, which is generally good practice anyway. And you don't have to take Apple's word for it. This thing has received United States military MIL STD 810H certification, tested for altitude, temperature, freezing and thawing, shock, immersion, and vibration. Is there a downside? Well, it's not small, nor is it light, despite the use of titanium to mask it. At 49mm across, the Ultra is substantially bigger than the 40 to 45mm range the standard Apple Watch comes in. But then again, most dive computers and other adventure watches tend to be around the same size or bigger anyway. From what I've seen, it's not so big it's unwearable, and you know how it is with Apple products. The size will become the new thing everyone else copies anyway. So just how ultra is the Ultra, and just how worried should its mechanical brethren be? Last time, in 2015, it was a false start. This time, however, I'm not so sure. At £849, the Apple Watch Ultra is far from a cheap device, but then again, it's significantly cheaper than many mechanical equivalents, and it can do a lot more. Most importantly, it's got your back. You can put it on, go exploring, and know you're in good hands. It's going to look after you so you can enjoy your adventure. With an expensive mechanical watch, I think you'd spend the whole time trying to look after it instead.